They're fearless, dedicated, single-minded and incredibly talented. They are simply the world's best. From all corners of the globe they came to Western Australia to tame arguably the most challenging conditions on the World Rally Championship circuit. But the forest tracks of WA Southwest were ready for these men and their machines. 94 cars faced the starter. 3 days later, half the field had retired, succumbing to the tortuous conditions. Very slippery. Dust a big problem. A lot of rocks. A little cut up in places. Stage rough and narrow. Jumps are awesome. Just a few of the comments as the drivers poured on the pressure. Those who survived did so in style, with stage record after stage record falling to these demons of the dust. Not surprising, given the calibre of the competition. Juha Kankkunen, the Flying Finn. 4 times world champion and 4 times winner of Rally Australia. Could he and British co-driver Nicky Grist pilot their Toyota Celica GT4 to a 5th victory?
Oh, I think quite good chances because the car has really improved a lot since beginning of the season when we were really struggling, and no, very good chance.
From France, defending world champion Didier Auriol in another Celica. Apart from his World Championship victory, Auriol is also a past Rally Australia winner, but his 1992 success must be considered alongside 3 other occasions when he failed to finish.
Okay, it's a new car, we have a lot of things to improve, but now I can say we have a very, very fast car and very easy car to drive.
From Germany in the 3rd of the Celicas, Armin Schwarz. A former works mechanic for Mazda, Schwarz is making his 2nd visit to Australia after a commendable 3rd placing in the 1991 Rally Australia.
I have been here only once, that was a few years ago. And when I see the roads here, it's, I think, one of the most difficult events what you can get.
Frenchman Francois Delacour is also contesting his 2nd Telstra Rally Australia, and like Schwarz has a 3rd placing to his credit, this time in 1993. Expect this man to make his Ford Escort Cosworth fly.
Okay, I've done the rally in 93 and finished third, but this time the practice was, there was a limitation and it was only possible to pass 3 times each stage. Then okay, most of the stages are the same than 93, but it's very, very difficult event for us.
A newcomer to Telstra Rally Australia, Belgium's Bruno Thierry, and like Delacour, flying the Ford flag in his Escort Cosworth.
The roads are, I think, for me, very, very difficult. For me, it's maybe the most difficult rally in the world, except Monte Carlo.
Making his 5th visit to Australia, dual world champion Carlos Sainz. 2nd in 1990, 3rd in 1992, and retirement in 91 and 93 represents a mixed bag for the popular Spaniard.
Yeah, I think sooner or later I'm going to win. And I hope it's this year. I think it's a rally which I haven't been so lucky so far, but that, you know, I think it's going to change.
Seeking back-to-back wins and joining Sainz in the Subaru Challenge, intense young Scot Colin McRae, hoping not only to successfully defend his crown, but to climb the ladder from 4th in the current World Championship standings.
Yeah, on the road, on the stages, and driving here is very, very difficult. Probably one of the most difficult rallies in the championship, just because the nature of the stage is very, very difficult. It's slippy, it's difficult to see the road, the trees are very close to the road. There's no room for error, so you have to be very precise here.
At the wheel of the 3rd Subaru, New Zealand's Possum Bourne, who's taken part in all previous 7 Rally Australias, finishing on all but 2 occasions. His best performance, 2nd in 1988.
We've done a lot of work. We came and tested early on, and we've tried to tune the car to the local conditions, and I think we've got it about right. It's the best I've felt in the car here for a long time, so fingers crossed, you never know.
With Mitsubishi trailing Toyota by 18 points in the 1995 Manufacturers' Championship, much was expected of boyish-looking Swede Kenneth Eriksson. 2nd to Kankkunen in 89 and 91, he was keen to go one better.
I think back to the New Zealand rally and also our 1st and 2nd win in Malaysian rally, so I'm feeling very confident for this rally.
Eriksson's teammate Tommy Mäkinen is here for his 2nd Rally Australia, this time in Group A. In 1990, the 31-year-old Finn took out the Group N section of the event.
I'm very
confident for the performance of the car. I think it should be very, very competitive.
Leading the Australian Challenge in Group A, Canberra's Neil Bates and co-driver Coral Taylor in a Toyota Celica GT4. Twice Australian champion, this Telstra Rally Australia is his fourth.
We plan to go a little harder than what we normally would in an Australian Championship round, and we'll just see how it goes during the event. It's actually quite a difficult thing to actually make yourself do that because we're so used to being conservative. It's probably not that easy to actually go all out.
One of the main chances in Group N, the quietly spoken Ed Ordinsky. If successful, it would be his sixth win in this class in Telstra Rally Australia.
This event's by far the most important event we do for the series. It's very much like the Tooheys 1000 to a touring car driver. For anyone in Australian rallying, this is the event you have to do well in, and Group N is the place for me.
Rallying may be dominated by men, but right up there with the best is Germany's Isolde Holderade, the world's top female rally driver. Although it's her first Telstra Rally Australia, she's hoping for the best.
It will be very, very difficult to rally here because if it's raining and it's very slippery on some corners, so we will see. I'm looking forward for that.
Also adding to the glamour of Telstra Rally Australia, Hollywood actor Jason Priestley, the star of Channel 10's Beverly Hills 90210. Priestley wasn't here just for his good looks. He's an accomplished rally driver in the United States and would prove his skill behind the wheel of his Ford Escort Cosworth before bad luck more than anything else would force his retirement.
This is great. I did my testing out here on this little track. It was outstanding. It's a fun little track.
Yeah. Now, there's a bit of similarity here. Your TV going into rallies. I'm sort of rallies going into the TV.
Yeah.
I'll give you a few tips on driving, but there's one thing that I need off you first.
Okay.
Is how do I attract thousands of women like you do?
Easier said than done.
No, well, seriously, as far as the rallies go, you've sort of been here, you've had a look at our roads. What do you reckon?
They're tricky. They're tricky. They're slippery. This is
the little stones.
Those little stones are yeah. Could be a lot of drama there and muddy. A lot of real slippery, muddy corners.
Right.
Great event though. I mean, the roads. Aside from that, they're great. The roads are a lot of fun. Pretty tricky.
As the fireworks lit up Perth after dark and the locals set about turning Telstra Rally Australia into one big party, the rally drivers were preparing to light their own fuses for 3.5 days of frantic action. They would speed along narrow bush tracks east and south of Perth, averaging up to 110 kilometres an hour. But unique to Telstra Rally Australia, there would also be 3-part tarmac super stages at Langley Park, literally on the doorstep of Perth's central business district.
I'm standing on a sporting ground known as Langley Park. Behind me, the beautiful city of Perth. Now, back when Perth was first settled, this was swamp. It was reclaimed and used as an aircraft landing strip. Well, 3 days out of every year, it becomes a landing strip of a very different kind. Every year, Perth hosts a round of the World Rally Championship, and one of the stages is a specially constructed figure-8 track here on Langley Park, and it's used 3 times during the rally. 2 cars are run at the same time, enabling the world's best drivers to pit their skills against each other, thrilling tens of thousands of fans that come to see the spectacular action. Work commences approximately 3 weeks before the event starts, transforming the park from this to this to this. The project manager responsible for this huge task is Peter Kay, who not only builds the special stage, but also has to remove it and totally reinstate the area back to a sporting park once the rally's over.
And it takes us approximately 10 days after the event to clean it all up, ready for playing again.
Right, now there's a huge pile of dirt behind you. How many trucks have to come in here and dump all that?
Well, we're looking at, in that jump you see there, about 4,000 cubic metres, which equates to approximately 400 truckloads of sand, yeah.
Yep. Now, the initial base, do you put plastic down or is it just sand and then sand on top?
After consultation with the local council, the Perth City Council, we put just a sand bed down, a 50mm sand bed, and then we put the 150mm clay layer on top of that.
The rally would start at Langley Park on Friday night, September 15. The day before, it was time to try some driving of a different kind at Joondalup Golf Course in Perth's northern suburbs. Ua Kankinen hoped for better luck with the bush when he took the wheel of his Celica. It was also a change of pace for Tommy Mäkinen, while Didier Auriol proved that, as a golfer, he's a great rally driver.
Telstra Rally Australia starts this evening.
With the start of Telstra Rally Australia now only hours away, the drivers enjoyed a sunny spring day in Perth as they paraded through the city.
What better way to start an event than with a street parade? Sit down, put your seatbelts on for Australia's round of the World Rally Championship, Telstra Rally Australia. Kenneth, how's it going?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Very great.
So this is the car for Langley Park tonight?
Yes. I will try my best.
A capacity crowd gathered at Langley Park for the start of Telstra Rally Australia, the 6th round of the World Rally Championship. The length of the Langley Park Superstage is 2.2 kilometres, with drivers starting and finishing on the bitumen of Riverside Drive. In between is a figure-8 course consisting of more than 5,000 cubic metres of gravel, clay, sand and lime. Perhaps the main feature is the crossover point of the track, incorporating a spectacular jump and tunnel. Ed Ordinsky and Yoshio Fujimoto were paired. The Australian flashed around the stage in 1 minute 43, equal fastest in Group N with Argentinian Jorge Recalde, and equal 14th overall. Fujimoto, with his time of 1:38, recorded equal 8th fastest time.
Very smooth. Very nice over the jump there. Needs a pilot licence, I think.
Oh, this is tight. This is really tight. Was tight, but Ordinsky now backs right off as he had to come under the tunnel, and that's where the time is lost, through that tunnel.
Out to the barricades. He's not sort of bouncing off them yet. Wait till we see the top runners, because they'll actually be hitting those barricades as they come back onto the tarmac.
Next on the grid, Possum Bourne and Armin Schwartz. Both set the Langley Park circuit alight. Schwartz, despite a tardy start, joined second fastest with a time of 1:36. Bourne just a second slower.
Possum's going under the tunnel, over the top with Armin Schwartz. A pretty good jump. Nicely sideways with Possum, down into the left-hander, over that small jump. And who's going to win this? This is going to be touch and go.
Side by side, as they come onto the straight. Bourne gets a bit sideways. That gives Schwartz the lead, and he takes it over at 1:36.
Then it was the turn of Bruno Thierry and Tommy Mäkinen. This contest brought the 18,000 spectators to their feet, both sweeping past the finish in 1:37, joining Bourne at equal 4th.
Almost side by side now as they come onto the main straight. It's just Thierry. Now let's see the speed of the Mäkinen Lancer on the outside of the circuit. It's going to be neck and neck as they go onto the line. Call it if you will. It has to be Thierry, but by a short nose.
But the star of the night was reigning world champion Didier Auriol, who left Carlos Sainz in his wake. The Frenchman equalling the Langley Park record, a scintillating 1 minute 35 seconds. Sainz had to be content with equal 8th after a 1:38.
Looks like it's going to be Auriol. But I'll tell you what, they're not going out as wide as they did last year, and they're not going to hit that embankment, which I thought they would do. Auriol.
1:35. He leads the Langley Park stage and therefore leads Rally Australia.
The penultimate pairing saw Francois Delacour and Kenneth Eriksson do battle. Eriksson shading the Frenchman by 1 second, 1:37 against 1:38.
Now, Eriksson's a very, very good driver, and he's desperate to win a world championship. In fact, he's leading the Asian Pacific Championship right at this moment, and that's what Mitsubishi are trying to win this year. Down the straight, it's neck and neck, and who's going to win this?
It's Eriksson.
Whoa!
It's Eriksson. He's done it.
148 kilometres an hour.
finally, the pair who staged such a dramatic finish last year, 1994 winner Colin McRae and the man he beat by just 9 seconds, Juha Kankkunen. This time, the Finn turned the tables, an equal second fastest time of 1:36, 2 seconds quicker than the Scot.
Let's see how they go. Over the jump, Kankkunen, he's way up in the air and really got the pedal to the metal. And McRae comes through a bit sideways, but still is putting the power on.
Over the second of the jumps now, Kankkunen sideways but keeping the power down, coming up and onto the main straight for the first time. Kankkunen's got the measure of McRae this time round. The gap is just over 3 seconds, so Kankkunen doing everything he can.
I tell you what, he's a bit sideways there. He's got a bit too much bias on the brakes. They can adjust the brake pressure from inside the car, and it looked like the rear wheels were locking up a bit, but I tell you what, it doesn't seem to be worrying him, but this is where he's got to slow down. He's got to brake here, set it up to go through the tunnel. He's got to right boot it. Out he comes, and Kankkunen's the man. McRae's over the top of him, and who's going to win it? I tell you what, McRae's put the pressure on a bit there now. Tight into that corner. I tell you what, it's neck and neck as they come out. Oh, this is really exciting stuff. The crowd's roaring.
Kankkunen's so sideways then, onto the main straight. Kankkunen's got him. He'll have him by about a second and a half. Here comes the clock. It's a 1:35, 1:36.
Fantastic.
Despite the brilliant drive, Kankkunen, ever the perfectionist, was not happy.
Juha, you just had the edge on Colin McRae then.
Yep, okay.
How was the stage?
It was gone quite bad, you know, already. It was big ruts and quite big bumps in some of the corners.
Not quite as fast as your record from 2 years ago, not quite as fast as Didier.
No, but, you know, just careful the first stage.
And what of Jason Priestley? His effort at Langley Park was no act, a time of 1:50, putting him in 18th place in Class N and 40th overall.
And now Jason Priestley is on the Langley Park track. This is the second lap of 2.2 kilometres around. He's driving the Ford Escort, car 30, and he is doing a sensational job, chasing 1:45 seconds. The Impreza being driven by Gadding. Gadding is an Indonesian driver driving for Team Indonesia, formerly second in the Indonesian Championship last year. Quite a good operator, 12th in the Australian in Rally Australia last year. But here's Priestley now. 1:40 seconds gone, coming onto the main straight, charging down the main straight, 270 horsepower. There's the times, 128 kilometres an hour through the flash, and then he flashes through.
That was a lot of fun. This is a good little stage. I haven't really, you know, I only went around it one time, and I wasn't too hot on it. So this was really my first time around it, really going at it, and it's a good stage. It was a lot of fun.
Just slightly shaded by the Subaru that time.
It's a Group A car. I can't touch him.
That set the stage for the first of the forest sections, Myara, south of Perth. Saturday, September 16, day 2 of Telstra Rally Australia, the real challenge begins. Competitors set off from Langley Park at 6 a.m. for a 70-kilometre drive south of Perth for the start of the 11-kilometre long Stage 2.
This stage is called Myara, and it's probably the first time that a lot of European drivers have got a chance to drive on a Western Australian road in earnest. Now, this stage goes through a natural forest and is very unpredictable. There are tree stumps, logs, and of course, the famous Western Australian gravel. Now, this just doesn't go on the surface, it goes down about 3 metres. And believe me, it's very hard to drive on. That's how it goes. Goes easy.
Didier Auriol picked up from where he'd left off the night before, hurtling through the stage in 6 minutes and 4 seconds, 3 seconds under the previous record set by Juha Kankkunen in 1993.
Sur 70 mètres. Gauche à fond, attention intérieure. Gauche à fond, attention intérieure.
Was 5 seconds faster than Kenneth Eriksson, with Juha Kankkunen another second back in third place. The pair trailed Auriol by 7 seconds overall. McRae and Mackinnon were next best, all the top drivers surviving the stage, setting up a battle royale on stage 3, Marin Up.
Special stage 3, Marin Up, a new stage this year. The drivers are complaining that it's very slippery indeed. But Juha Kankkunen trying to stamp his authority on this event already. You can see a time 5:39 for Juha Kankkunen, clearly fastest on the Marin Up stage.
Again, Juha Kankkunen had been the fastest man on this stretch, recording 5 minutes 50 last year. This year, the stage is run in the opposite direction. No problem for Kankkunen, who roared through in 5 minutes 39. The drive enabled Kankkunen to shave 3 seconds off Auriol's overall lead, the margin down to 4 seconds. The Frenchman was 4th fastest, but still happy having deliberately taken it easy on the new stage. The consistent Kenneth Eriksson was only a second slower than Kankkunen, the Swede close up in 3rd place overall. Colin McRae was also handy, the Scot 3rd fastest for the stage and 4th overall.
And second 3 into second left to stop.
Marin Up was to claim its first high-profile victims. Possum-born suffered his second major off in 3 years. But unlike the tragedy of '93, which claimed the life of co-driver Roger Freeth, born and fellow Kiwi Tony Sercombe walked away unharmed. The other casualty, none other than Jason Priestley. Mechanical trouble bringing his first Telstra Rally Australia to an end.
Murray Pines, the name says it all. A tricky high-speed section through a pine plantation. Whoa! Well, the road conditions have changed. Gone are the small round stones, now they're onto hard compact gravel. Now when it rains here, the stage is very, very dangerous. But it hasn't rained in this area for 3 or 4 days, and the conditions are ideal for the Formula Ones of the forest.
A slippery stage, but no problem for the Mitsubishi of Tommy Mackinnon. The Finn averaging more than 97 kilometres an hour to set a record on the stage, shortened from last year. Mackinnon started the stage in 5th place overall. By the time they'd completed the 18.5 kilometres, he was second. Just 1 second behind Mackinnon on stage 4, fellow Finn Kankkunen. And although troubled by a soft suspension, he took the overall lead 7 seconds ahead of Mackinnon. The stage saw Didier Auriol slip from 1st to 4th, losing 15 seconds. By the end of the 7th stage, Auriol was 37 seconds off the pace. It was all a bit of a mystery to the frustrated world champ.
I am happy by my driving, but I am not happy by my time. So, okay, what I can do, I don't know. Just try again. I try now to cut little more the tire, same you are, and we see.
Back in the field, the 2 leading Australians were engaged in a war of their own. Ed Ordinsky commenced stage 4 just 1 second ahead of Neil Bates. Ordinsky was concerned about the slippery clay on the surface. Even so, he was clearly the fastest Group N car through Murray Pines. But Bates was in flat-out mode on stage 4, recording the 10th fastest time, a full 15 seconds quicker than Ordinsky. The overall margin between the pair now 14 seconds in favour of Bates. Stages 5, 6 and 7 saw Juha Kankkunen stamp his authority on day 2. Equal first on Stirling West and clearly fastest on Stirling East and Brunswick 1.
Stirling West is certainly a popular spectator point. There's so many here, they're even hanging from the trees. How's it up there, mate?
Fantastic. Got it from the start to finish.
Is that right?
Rescue out, yep.
How's your young bloke going?
Excellent.
Stirling West was the first section on which the record was not broken. Slippery conditions putting the fastest car 13 seconds behind Kankkunen's 1993 record. This year, the Finn and Colin McRae shared fastest time, the determined Scot moving into 2nd place. Daniel picked up some lost ground to be just 1 second slower on the stage than the 2 leaders. He moved back to third at the expense of Kenneth Eriksson, but only 13 seconds separated the top 5 competitors. Back in 9th position, Francois Delacour was in the wars, his engine running anything but smoothly.
The engine not so good. Maybe it's not only the engine, it's maybe the ratio between the gear. It's too long, and for example on the stage we don't use the 5th, we don't use the 6th, and this is not really normal.
One of the trickiest corners in the event is on Stirling West. It has an off-camber jump onto a main road. To add to the excitement, there's a stump on the inside. Many drivers attack it in different ways. Lying 13th overall at the time, Australia's Michael Guest tried too hard, and this was the result.
Turn it up!
The survivors moved to Stirling East, 27.5 kilometres long, and similar to the previous stage, smooth and fast. The battle between Kankkunen and McRae escalated to open warfare. Kankkunen firing a best shot of 16 minutes neat. The Finn's average speed in excess of 103 kilometres an hour.
Opens the long easy left, opens. 20. Press the very, very long flat right.
McRae replied with a 16.03, including a crash into an earth bank. Eriksson was also sucked in by the pace of Kankkunen, third on the stage with a time of 16.09. He astonished rally watchers by admitting he'd overdriven on the last corner.
I had a spin on the last one here now. I was a bit too fast in the hairpin, and I went through the banderole, and I didn't lose much, 3 or 4 seconds maybe, so it's okay.
Stage 7, Brunswick won, and Kankkunen was driving his opposition into the ground. Brunswick 1 cuts through pine plantations and is almost 17 kilometres long. Kankkunen held the stage record at 9 minutes 23 seconds set last year. He would not set a new time this year, but his 9.36 was still the fastest, and his overall lead had been stretched to an imposing 16 seconds.
Long fast left. Flat right, maybe.
McRae had tried everything to rein in the flying Finn, but to no avail. Although second fastest on the stage, he was still 3 seconds slower than Kankkunen and was at a loss to know what to do.
I can't go any quicker, he just seems to take 3 seconds a stage. It was the same here last year, he was very quick in these stages, so we just need to keep going. We're going quicker than everybody else, so as long as he doesn't get too far in front, then maybe we can get stages that suit us better later.
Next stage is Wellington Dam, which is the longest stage. How do you think you'll go in there?
I usually go better in longer stages against everybody else, so we'll wait and see. But I think you has well in the boil at the moment.
Tommy Mäkinen moved up a spot to be third overall, but now 27 seconds off the pace. Damaging his Lancer didn't help.
I hit the small post on the last stage and broken the bumper and slightly bending suspension, but not really seriously. And now they can fix it, and the car is perfect again.
This is, of course, where a service team really counts. Tommy has had a problem with his lower wishbone, and there's a heap of guys trying to repair it.
Thanks to the spin on the previous stage, Kenneth Eriksson also had a lot of work to do to make up the leeway. He was now 30 seconds behind Kankkunen, losing 8 more precious seconds on stage 7. Back in the field, the battle of the Australians had taken a dramatic turn. 2 stages ago, Neil Bates led Ed Ordinsky by 11 seconds. Now he trailed by 25 seconds. Bates-Salika had timing troubles.
We've had a problem with the engine, and we don't know why, but the timing retarded itself 25 degrees, so it didn't go too well like that. It just produced heat and had no power whatsoever.
Ordinsky was displaying his usual precision most of the time. On stage 7, he proved he was human, making what he described as a beginner's error on a hairpin and had to reverse. It's a mistake that's not hard to make. Negotiating hairpin bends takes a special kind of skill.
This is one of 6 hairpin corners in Telstra Rally Australia. Now, most of the crews will use the handbrake to get around. What they do is they unbalance the car before the corner, they put their foot on the clutch, rip on the handbrake, which locks up their back wheel, and then they're ready for the straight to give it the big boot. Let's see how he does it. Handbrake on, and away he goes.
Stage 7 was not kind to Bruno Thierry, a spin costing him 26 seconds, and he was now almost 2.5 minutes behind the leader.
I can tell you it is a very difficult job to stay on the road because to keep the car on the road because it's very slippery. We went off now in this one, and two stages ago, second we went off. I think we calm now because like this the pace notes are not 100% okay, and I have to left my foot now.
While some of the guys were finding the going tough, Isolde Holderite had no complaints. She was in 31st place after stage 2. Now she was lying 23rd.
Today it's not so bad. Okay, it's very difficult. I'm the first time here. It's very slippery, and so okay, I feel not really confident at the moment, but I try my best.
There was a brief break after stage 7, but no reduction in the intensity. Ahead lay the longest stage of the rally, and the cars needed servicing.
In Formula One, they have the pits. In rallying, they have service areas. And this is a service area, about as close as you'll get to pit action in rallying. These designated service areas are new to rallying. In the past, crews could service just about anywhere they wanted to. But from this year onwards, these designated service areas are the only places where teams can service. And they frantically work on the cars to get them right in a very limited amount of time. This is truly amazing pieces of mechanical work going on here behind me, with the Subaru team trying to repair Colin McRae's car, which hit a tree 2 stages ago.
It sounds like a great place to have a picnic, doesn't it? Well, I can tell you it's not. It's the longest stage in the rally, and the director throws everything at them. In fact, logs, slippery conditions, loose roads, the whole shooting match. But to top it off, after they book out of here, they only have 6 minutes to repair their cars before they enter the next stage.
Wellington Dam and the following stage, Dongara Ridge, saw Kenneth Eriksson make his move, clipping 3 seconds off the Wellington Dam record and 1 second off the previous best time on Dongara Ridge. Juha Kankinen was only 4th fastest on Wellington Dam, but maintained his overall lead. However, Colin McRae picked up 6 seconds on Kankinen and cut the overall deficit to just 10 seconds. Tommy Mäkinen was a model of consistency. In the 5 remaining forest stages for the day, he was 2nd or equal 2nd fastest on 4 occasions. His worst effort, a 6th placing on stage 9, Dongara Ridge. By day's end, he would be 3rd overall and well within striking distance of the 2 leaders. Wellington Dam was to be the beginning of the end for Carlos Sainz and co-driver Luis Moya when they hold their radiator on a tree branch. The mishap cost the Spaniards almost 12 minutes, and they called it a day on stage 9. It was developing into a horror year for Sainz.
I think the whole year hasn't been so lucky so far. Let's wait a little bit and see if it's changing.
So the engine problem was caused by the stick and overheating?
Yeah, this branch came through the radiator, and then we have to do the whole stage, the longest stage, nearly without water, and I think that's caused the problem in the engine.
And this is the problem, of course, with all these high-performance cars. If they run hot for any length of time, it's normally all over. And as we can see in there, she's been overheating, and of course, Carlos Sainz is out of Telstra Rally Australia.
Once more, it seems that Australia is, even though we like very much this country, but the event is not our favourite one.
It's lucky Lewis Moyer is multi-skilled. No more rally, so out with the yo-yo.
Yo-yo.
When he was 18 years old, I won this yo-yo, and I carried this like as a lucky charm with me.
Oh, right.
And sometimes I play with it, sometimes I not. I'm not as used as before.
So stand back and we'll see Lewis Moyer, Spanish yo-yo champion. Now, Lewis, you don't get a chance to practice like that during a special stage.
No, I don't. Unfortunately, I have to do something else in the car.
The Wellington Dam stage is one that Francois Delacour won't remember with great affection either. He lost 2.5 minutes and any chance he might have had in Telstra Rally Australia.
He broke an outboard joint on the front left-hand drive shaft. But unlike in Corsica when we had a problem, we were able to fix it at the service point immediately afterwards. 4-minute service and only 20 seconds, or 2 minutes late at the time control, so 20 seconds. So it's not the end of the world, though he lost 2.5 minutes in the stage.
One who did negotiate the stage successfully was Japanese driver Yoshio Fujimoto. He was 8th fastest in his Celica, and it looked as though he might do something in this year's Telstra Rally Australia that he'd failed to do in 4 previous attempts. Finish. Dongara Ridge, where Carlos Sainz Telstra Rally Australia ended, is 12 kilometres long, hilly and very narrow in parts, opening out into fast-flowing roads. It suited Didier Auriol, who recorded the equal second fastest stage time, and 39 seconds behind Kankinen, he was not out of the event. Another who was still in contention was Armin Schwartz, lying 6th overall. The 17-kilometre-long Brunswick 2 is a very fast-flowing stage through pine plantations, narrowing and tightening towards the end. Didier Auriol built on his rediscovered form to record fastest time on this stage, is 9 minutes 30, 1 second quicker than Mankinen, with Kankinen a further second away in 3rd place. It seemed the mechanical problems that slowed the world champ's car had been fixed.
Now I have a good engine same this morning, so it's why the time is better, because after this morning in the long stay I say absolutely no power, I don't try, I drive well, but time is not good. I really don't understand, but okay, now we are fine. It's quite okay, but we lose I think minimum 20 seconds this morning, but okay, it's a long way.
By contrast, it was a long-faced McRae after stage 10. He chipped away at Kankinen's lead on stages 8 and 9, but a half spin on Brunswick 2 cost him valuable time.
You don't seem as happy as you were here last year.
No, just because, well, I just lost the time I made up. So. I'm not very happy about that.
Neil Bates was a happier man, having overcome problems with his car. He recorded 9th fastest on the stage, closing the gap between himself and Ed Ordinsky by 3 seconds. But Ordinsky still held a 29-second overall advantage. Stage 11, Harvey Weir, is only 8 kilometres long. The tight and twisty sand tracks cut through pine plantations. His lead under some threat, Juha Kankinen stepped up the pressure. In 1993, he'd recorded 4 minutes 57. This year, he would lower that time by 1 second. The Finn took the achievement in his stride.
Not so bad, yes. But I think, you know, it's cleaning up a little, so the boys might do also good times. But we will see. Not bad, I must say.
It was also a good stage for Argentina's Jorge Ricalde, one of the main chances in Group N. His Mitsubishi Lancer appeared in the top 10 fastest stage times for the first time in Telstra Rally Australia. He moved up to 12th overall, but still trailed Ordinsky by 2 minutes 43 in Group N. The final daytime stage on the Saturday of Telstra Rally Australia was Murray River, 20 kilometres long with plenty of twists and turns. It was where Didier Auriol was to meet his Waterloo. He rolled his Celica on the stage, damaging the front right drive system and setting off a chain of other problems. It was here where Ross Duncan uttered the understatement of Telstra Rally Australia.
Did he have a bit of a problem?
It's a big problem. I think we were in the last one.
And the last stage was Murray River.
Yeah. And okay, now we have no alternator anymore, so now we have no electricity.
Oriol managed to complete the stage, losing a horrendous 4 minutes, limping into the Dandalup service zone. Another stage record fell here, this time to Colin McRae, the Scot shaving 2 seconds off the time Oriol set in 1992. He was 3 seconds faster than Juha Kankkunen, but the Finn headed for the Langley Park Super Stage with an overall lead over McRae of 15 seconds. The consistent Tommy Mäkinen another 8 seconds away, while Kenneth Eriksson was next, a mere 5 seconds behind Mäkinen. Kankkunen gained 2 more precious seconds over McRae at Langley Park, 1:37 versus 1:39 for the Scot. Tommy Mäkinen matched Kankkunen to complete a good day for him, while Kenneth Eriksson and Armin Schwartz recorded 1:38. So at the end of an enthralling day 2 of Telstra Rally Australia, the leaderboard saw Kankkunen 17 seconds ahead of McRae. Mäkinen was a further 6 seconds back with a similar margin to Eriksson, while Schwartz trailed the Swede by 1 minute 44. Thierry was in 6th place, followed by Delacour and Fujimoto, with the Aussies Ordinsky and Bates making up the top 10, Ordinsky holding a 41-second advantage over Bates. September 17, and the scene was set for an exciting day's rallying with just 29 seconds separating the top 4 cars. Ahead lay 7 stages, starting with Flynn's. At 31 kilometres, it's one of the longest stages of the day, fast and smooth along forest tracks and old farm roads. There must be something about early mornings that suit Mitsubishi drivers, because Kenneth Eriksson and Tommy Mäkinen were in blistering early form. The stage was around a kilometre shorter than last year, but on projected times, Eriksson would have carved 4 seconds off the 1994 mark. He was 5 seconds faster than Mäkinen, cutting the overall margin between the pair to a single second. Colin McRae was 3rd fastest over the stage, just 2 seconds adrift of Mäkinen, while Juha Kankkunen was surprisingly slow, 11 seconds behind McRae and a full 18 seconds in arrears of Eriksson. There were excuses. Kankkunen, first driver on the very slippery surface, cleaned it up somewhat for the following competitors. The Finn now led McRae by just 6 seconds, and the top 4 separated now by a mere 11 seconds. Stage 15 barracking is 28.5 kilometres long and new this year. It's tight at the start, then through natural forest, before faster flowing roads, then back through a pine plantation. A dramatic change came over the event here, with Kenneth Eriksson sweeping to the lead. His time, 8 seconds faster than Mäkinen, propelled him from 4th to 1st. Different tyre choice and a change to the front suspension made all the difference. Juha Kankkunen went in the opposite direction, 1st to 4th. He was 28 seconds slower than Eriksson, having to reverse after missing a junction cost him dearly. Clean to 2nd place overall was McRae, only 4 seconds behind Eriksson, while Mäkinen was just 7 seconds off the lead in 3rd place. The next 4 stages, Bunnings South, North, West and East, are located 110 kilometres southeast of Perth. In total, the drivers will travel 120 kilometres on a variety of surfaces. The most famous feature is the creek finish at Bunnings North. At the start of the Bunnings sections, the halfway point of Telstra Rally Australia, it was patently obvious only 4 drivers remained in serious contention with a separation of just 17 seconds. 5th placed Armin Schwartz was 2 minutes 22 seconds away, but at least the German driver had the honour of recording the fastest time on Bunnings East. His 8 minutes 45 paired 8 seconds from McRae's record time last year. This part of the rally saw McRae make his move with a fastest time on Bunnings South and West and 2nd fastest on the other 2 stages. The performance shot the Scot into the outright lead. Back-to-back rallies looked a distinct possibility. Kenneth Eriksson went into the Bunnings stages with a 4-second lead over McRae, but at the end was 3 seconds behind, despite recording the fastest time on Bunnings North and setting a new record in the process. He was worried about soft tyres.
Kenneth say before that stage he had 2 stages to go. He's done one, and now the decision on the tyres. They are wearing out, and will he make it through the next stage?
Tommy Mackinnon had also experienced tyre trouble, but despite this, he still maintained 3rd place, 21 seconds off the lead at the end of Bunnings.
I went twice off slightly, and that's why I lose a little bit time. I was trying
just a very small bit.
Yeah. I was trying slightly too much. Right. And that's why, luckily, nothing has happened.
Right. So the car's going good?
Yeah, it's going very well, and everything is still in good condition. We were very lucky that nothing has happened.
With cars 10 and 11 going so well, there were smiles all round in the Mitsubishi camp.
We expected the car to be good here, and both the drivers are suited to these conditions. Kenneth especially, he loves Australia. Good event for him.
Juha Kankinen was struggling and put his relatively slow times down to new shock absorbers, accentuated by being the first car on each stage, and therefore having to deal with the most gravel on the road. But whatever the reason, the Finn found himself more than a minute behind McRae after stage 19. One kilometre from the end of the stage. Delacour was annoyed at himself for crashing out of the rally.
I think I'm stupid. I've done a big mistake because I had nothing to do. I was 6 and impossible to catch Schwartz in front, and Bruno was behind. It was so important for me to finish here to get some points for the World Championship. But okay, I hit a tree, and Catherine and me, we are okay, and it's part of rally.
In the battle for the Australian Rally Championship, Ed Ordinsky was dominating. His best effort around Bunnings was 8th fastest at Bunnings East. His worst, still 11th fastest on Bunnings South. As ever, Ordinsky was driving a clever rally, taking it easy through the water stages. After Bunnings, Ordinsky was 8th overall and 3 minutes 10 seconds ahead of Neil Bates, who was still battling mechanical problems. The latest, a damaged intercooler which caused a serious loss of power. Ordinsky was also making Group N his own, showing a lead of almost 4 minutes over Jorge Recalde. After Bunnings, the action moved to stage 20, Toss, so named to commemorate the late Terry O'Sullivan, a member of the original organising committee of Telstra Rally Australia, who passed on just before the first event in 1988. The 10.5 kilometre stage starts with fast gravel roads, followed by twisty sand tracks through natural bush. The Mitsubishi started the day in explosive form. They ended it the same way. Kenneth Eriksson and Tommy Mackinnon sharing equal fastest time. The effort pushed Eriksson into equal first place overall with Colin McRae. Juha Kankinen's woes continued, 5th fastest and 6 seconds down on his record time set last year. He was now 65 seconds behind the joint leaders and would need a supreme effort over tomorrow's final stages. Thierry was also in trouble, his escort spinning out during the stage. As the cars prepared to head for Langley Park for another evening super stage, it was building to an exciting finish. McRae's team hoping for the best.
Car's going well. Colin seems very relaxed, and I can't say he's in control of the situation, because with 2 Mitsubishis that close, you're never in control. But no, it's going to be very exciting.
Although his vision of a 5th Rally Australia win was blurring somewhat, Juha Kankinen shared equal fastest time on the super stage with Armin Schwartz. Their 1 minute 36 was 1 second faster than McRae, Eriksson and Mackinnon.
So
So at the end of day 3, it was still congested at the top of the leaderboard. Ericsson and McRae were locked together, 18 seconds clear of Mäkinen, with Kankinen a further 46 seconds back, and Schwartz well back in 5th. Making up the top 10 were Thierry, Fujimoto, Ordinsky, Bates and Ricalda. 18, the final day of Telstra Rally Australia, 9 more stages to determine the 1995 champion. Stage 22, Kevs, 40 kilometres east of Perth, starts with some nasty bends, and there are 2 tight turns late in the 8 kilometre stage. The Mitsubishi drivers started brilliantly yesterday. Today was almost a carbon copy. Kenneth Eriksson and Tommy Mäkinen simply brilliant. Eriksson slashed 4 seconds off the stage record and was 7 seconds faster than McRae, that margin now representing the Swedes' overall lead. Mäkinen's second fastest time of 4:15 saw him consolidate 3rd place, now just 14 seconds behind McRae. The Scot was equal 4th fastest, but about to lay down the gauntlet over the next 2 stages. Stage 23, Helena 1, would be contested twice on the final day, the second time as the last stage of Telstra Rally Australia. It's 30 kilometres long, using open sections of hard clay over gravel, interspersed with sandy deviations around pine plantations. The leading duo of Eriksson and McRae reigned supreme on this stage, both recording 17 minutes and 7 seconds, a massive 15 seconds faster than Juha Kankinen. But the stage spelt disaster for Tommy Mäkinen. He cut a corner too sharply, breaking his left-hand front wishbone. It cost him 2 minutes. The problem resulted in a further 35-second loss on the next stage, while salt was added to the wound with the application of a 30-second time penalty while repairs were carried out.
I hit slightly. I got just over the crest, and after the crest there was a small stone, and I hit the front wheel to the stone and broke the lower wishbone.
Mäkinen continued on, and with his car patched up, managed to complete the rally.
This is what's caused the problems for Tommy Mäkinen. A broken lower wishbone, virtually snapped in half, and that's what's dropped him down the field behind Armin Schwartz and caused him all sorts of problems, and also Mitsubishi's chances in the World Manufacturers title.
It's the final day of Telstra Rally Australia, and we're at a stage called Atkins, 4.5 kilometres long. It's generally open at the start, tight in the middle, then opens gradually towards the end. Now, if it rains, this stage is very, very dangerous. Guess what? It rained last night, and this corner will be very exciting.
Colin McRae continued to whittle away at Kenneth Eriksson's lead over the Atkins stage. The Scot sped through in 3:09, 3 seconds quicker than Eriksson. The overall margin between the pair was only 4 seconds. It was a good stage for Germany's Armin Schwartz, his Celica second fastest. He was 5th overall behind Mäkinen, but with that driver in difficulty, Schwartz was eyeing off 4th place and at one point had whittled a 2:18 deficit down to 34 seconds. While the stars of the World Rally stage were the centre of attention, one Victorian driver was doing a mighty job not far down the leaderboard. Martin Beckton, driving car number 37, was making his debut in Telstra Rally Australia and holding down 14th position overall. He was 3rd in the Australian Rally Championship behind Ordinsky and Bates, and 6th in Group N. Stage 26 York Railway is 5 k's long and is one of the fastest in Telstra Rally Australia. His car back to its best, Tommy Mäkinen set about making up lost time. Averaging more than 115 kilometres an hour, Mäkinen was a second faster than Armin Schwartz, with McRae and Eriksson another second slower in equal 3rd.
With 4 stages to go in Telstra Rally Australia, this is probably the most famous of all, Murett's College. The crews do this twice. Now for the drivers that have got loose fillings, whoa, hold on.
Eriksson held a 13-second lead over McRae going into Muresk 1, and with Kankinen 99 seconds off the lead, it was a race in 2.
Muiresti have just run a double special stage, and Kenneth Eriksson has taken time off Colin McRae in both stages. He took 2 seconds off him in the first run through and 1 second off in the stage just completed. This could be the most decisive part of the rally on day 3 of Telstra Rally Australia.
Mount Observation, the second last stage, is just on 12 kilometres long, a fast and open stage through natural forest along farm fence lines. Tommy Mäkinen in 4th place was still cutting the deficit between himself and Juha Kankinen. Mäkinen's 6 minutes 22 shaved a second off the stage record. Kenneth Eriksson was 7 seconds faster than Colin McRae, and it was becoming obvious only something out of the ordinary could rob the Swede of victory.
Here at the end of Mount Observation, Colin McRae has just conceded defeat. Kenneth Eriksson beat him by 7 seconds in there. His lead now 23 seconds with 1 stage to go.
In Telstra Rally Australia, there's an event within an event, the Corolla Cup. It's a 3-rally program open to Group N specification Corolla Seeker RVs built by Toyota in Australia. Telstra Rally Australia is the middle leg of the program, which started with the Rally of Toowoomba in Queensland in July and ended with the Coffs Harbour Rally in mid-October. Simon Evans, Mike Morris and Norm Fritter lined up for the WA leg of the Corolla Cup, Evans setting up a handy lead from the start. Everything was going well for car 56 until stage 4, Murray Pines, when Evans and co-driver Malcolm Horborough found themselves literally in a spin.
That's the end of the rally.
Evans now out of the rally, Morris took the lead. With the prize for the winner of the Corolla Cup, a chance to drive a works-prepared Group N Toyota Celica GT4 in the final round of the Australian title in Canberra in November, Morris made every post a winner. Morris finished Telstra Rally Australia in 33rd place overall and 16th in Group N. He comprehensively won the Corolla Cup by almost 19 minutes from Fritter.
Pumping stages, just a few steps to the final timing marker for Telstra Rally Australia. Who is going to win it, McRae or Eriksson?
With the end in sight, the cream that had risen to the surface over the past 4 days approached the finish. Isolde Holderide, car 19 in 19th place, an excellent Telstra Rally Australia debut for the world's top woman driver.
Isolde, congratulations. Did you enjoy Rally Australia?
Yes, of course. I like the country, I like the rally. Okay, it was difficult, but also we have to finish here for the ladies' title. So
has this clinched the ladies' title for you?
No, I have one more rally to be in the finish. That's maybe in Spain. But there I will try also for the Group N in Spain. If not, if I don't finish, then I have to try it in RC again.
Leading the local WA charge, Alan McCarthy.
Alan, first Western Australian home. You must be pleased with that.
Yes, we are. We're very pleased. Yeah, it was a long haul, and we just kept our noses clean and had a few little problems, but
tough event.
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, it's hard on gear, hard on the cars, but we're here.
In 10th place, Argentina's Jorge Recalde, his Mitsubishi Lancer finishing 2nd in Group N. 9th was Neil Bates, the second-placed Australian. A good effort considering he was unable to use his Celica to its maximum potential.
We had a lot of problems during the rally, but probably the most fortunate thing is getting to the finish. We had a few dramas along the way and were able to fix it each time and get it to the finish, so that was the main thing.
This rally hasn't been all that kind to you over the years, has it?
No, certainly not. Hopefully better next year, though.
Ahead of Bates, Ed Ordinsky, 8th overall and the Group N champion.
To win Group N here, it's the most significant result for us for the season. It's the one we work hardest for. To have achieved it against tough competition, it's a great credit to the Walkden team. They've done a marvellous job.
It was pretty tough competition, wasn't it? I mean, some international Group N teams have...
Absolutely, and you only have to look at the stage records in Group N. They've been demolished in this rally, so some of them will take a while to get beaten, I'm sure.
In 7th place, Japan's Yoshio Fujimoto, a wonderful result given his failure to finish on 4 previous occasions. Belgium's Bruno Thierry had never before contested Telstra Rally Australia, so his 6th placing was a fine effort.
Both happy to finish, but disappointed because some stage was not very good. So very, very difficult rally. I think for me it's the most difficult rally.
Fifth place went to Germany's Armin Schwarz, not far below his third place finish in 1991, the only other time he's competed in this event.
Let's say I'm happy with the second and third day, like I expect them. But the first day I lost too much time and I couldn't get back the time, so that was probably a mistake to stay back a little bit on the first day.
Right in the hunt for outright victory until the final few stages was Tommy Mäkinen. This also his second Rally Australia and his first in Group A. He could be the early tip for next year after his fourth place this time.
Apart from this morning's problems, how did you enjoy Rally Australia?
Very much. It's very good event. I'd like very much, and next year I think next year will be very much easier because this is really event where you need experience, and I haven't got so much experience. So next year will be easier.
Suspension trouble may well have ruined Juha Kankkinen's chances of a fifth Rally Australia win. The Flying Finn had to be content with third.
No, disappointed of course, but I lost it all yesterday, like I said before, that that couldn't catch up anything today and just had to take what it was coming.
In the rally right to the end, the never say die Scot Colin McRae, his desperation underlined by his sensational drive in the final stage, where he was 2 seconds faster than anyone else despite a small spin.
Yeah, I'm quite happy. Obviously first would have been a lot better, but second's good for the championship. Puts us very close to Juha now.
But no one could do anything about Kenneth Eriksson. He was simply sensational. The Swede was fastest or equal fastest over 11 of the 30 stages, setting 6 stage records in the process.
Kenneth, a great win, mate.
Yeah, it is really fantastic. Both the team car and our Michelin test has been really great, and we try now to go safely down to Perth. I think it should be okay.
Back for a beer?
We will see.
Yeah, it's not that. Go for it.
Telstra Rally Australia was his fourth, this year going one better than his second placings in 89 and 91. His margin over McRae, a wafer-thin 19 seconds.
Thank you, all of you. It has been a really fantastic event as usually in this rally, and we had a hard fight all through the 3.5 days, and also for this morning I felt quite confident, but it was very difficult to go first on the road, and I really went for it, and luckily we was winning this rally, and thank you to all of you here. Thank you.
So to the final leaderboard. Eriksson narrowly over McRae, 1 minute 36 back to Kankkinen, another 1:32 to Mäkinen, with 44 seconds to Schwarz. Then almost 13 minutes to Thierry, followed by Fujimoto, Ordinsky, Bates and Ricaldo. After 6 rounds then in the World Championship, Juha Kankkinen leads the way on 62 points, 7 more than McRae, with Oriol and Sainz anchored on 51 and 50 respectively after failing to finish Telstra Rally Australia, while Eriksson moved to 5th after earning the 20 points for first place in this rally. Toyota with 260 points, hotly pressed by a resurgent Mitsubishi team on 255, then Subaru 222 and Ford on 184, the Manufacturers' Championship. And finally, what of Jason Priestley? His Telstra Rally Australia may have been short-lived, but he's left our shores all the richer for the vernacular experience.
Fun little track. But they've certainly got the mumbo, haven't they?
The mumbo?
The mumbo. The grunt.